Hi, it's me, Kathy. Here we are at the end of August, the end of summer, and here I am in California, so that means next week it's going to be hotter. But today I have my completed Summer of Fun junk journal with my coffee bag cover, my brown packing paper, and anyway, I'm going to do a flip through for you and hopefully everything will go okay. So grab your coffee or your tea or your cold beverage, whatever, or don't, but we're going to get into it after I take this sip. Okay, so the cover, everything that happened in here, most everything that happened in here, I showed you in previous videos. This is a Starbucks cover that I have sewn to a Amazon bubble mailer, and there's other stuff in there. This is the tie closure, which should be longer actually. It needs to be longer because I can't tie it in a bow very successfully anymore. I've got my thrifted crochet flower here on the front. This is some leftover ruffle I made from a thrifted skirt, and I used this on some decorative pieces in my shop. Oh, here's something left over. Now, this cover, there's a there's a bubble mailer in here. Just the one side of a bubble mailer. And I covered it with a paper bag and sewed that to the bubble mailer. And then I sewed this coffee cover to around the edges. I put an X on the paper bag and the bubble mailer. And then I don't know why I didn't sew to the edge. There was a reason. Maybe I didn't think I could get through the ruffles and everything. I don't know. But anyway, you can see the inside. There's threads everywhere. I'm not going to bother with those, but I don't know. Maybe I thought I was going to glue that. I didn't. This is going to be a tag, which I forgot to finish. I was taking a moment to breathe. But this is a very sturdy fabric. It came from a jeans or something. And it's weird. There's not even a hole. Well, anyway, I'm going to put when I made the journal, when I started it, when I completed it, the date and everything on there. Okay. And so the first page, now I had pre-sewn these images of these ladies in the journal before I started working in it. And so you'll see them throughout. And there's a video where I stamped and stenciled over the white. They're all wearing white clothing, and that's in videos. These are just some tags I made that I did not. Let's see which way. Here we go. Goes like that. It's just on the brown packing paper. And this one I thought looked like lace. I think this was a hammock, maybe, in some picture. And then there's the water. So, and that just gets tucked in there. Now, I didn't put pictures in this chronologically because the purpose of this thing, one of the purposes, was to get me out of my ruts, basically. So I didn't put in any dates on pages like I would have done before. I just, whatever page I felt the theme of that day fit, that's what I put on the page. Now this page in particular here, I did not process video this one. It's just a garden scene and then some extra pieces here that I put in. This one I stamped on. It's actually a dress from a catalog that I trimmed out with these type of scissors. Sorry, that was the regular scissors hitting the floor. Anyway, I get these at thrift stores for 50 cents, and sometimes they don't cut so good, but sometimes they work pretty good. And I use these a lot to fake the fussy cutting or to make decorative edges like I did here. All the pages are not, let's take that out. All the pages are not even because I just ripped my way through this long skein of is it a skein when it's paper? What is that? I don't know. Anyway, I ripped through this long piece of wrapping, I keep calling it wrapping paper. It's packing paper. Something came in that my husband ordered, and I mean, it was just, you know, massive amount of brown paper, and I went, oh, hey, I'll use that. So that's what determined the size of the journal, because it was double this and then very long. And so I just, you know, kind of tore it apart. So I did add, this is just so there's not a blank page when I first started, or to not have so many blank pages when I started, so I would not be overwhelmed by the blankness. I'm a big believer of breaking a page. I have a video, a couple of them probably, where I show you how I will break a page with stenciling. And that helps, you know, you don't stencil so heavy that you feel bad covering it up, but it's there so that you don't go, oh, you know, it's a blank, you know, what am I going to do with a blank page? So that this is basically, you know, I either was going to do something here eventually, or like I have done here, is just leave it, but there is something on the page. And this was sewn onto the packing paper, actually it's a piece of brown bag. I sewed that on, and then I just glued it onto the packing paper. So you'll see as we go, there's different videos for most of these pages, and you can go back and see them. This one is the butterfly, and it's optimism. And I don't know if I hold it up, will you be able to see it? Will it focus? I don't know, but right down here, it says optimism, and there's a dragonfly, which I love dragonflies, and I really needed that boost that day when I was doing this. This one was part of the video where I put the floral around the sewn in ladies with the white clothing that I stenciled and stamped on. And these are positive quotes. One says, always think outside the box. And so that's what's stamped here. Here's the floral. This was all built up. You can see it on the video. And then this one is California Dreaming. This was an ad for pottery on the beach. It was just beautiful. And then I found California Dreaming in one of the tourism magazines I got. And then this is a sticker, a clear sticker that I don't know, I just put it over there. There's not too many things in here that I bought for journals. This was basically what I found in those magazines that you can see. Space filler that was sewn onto a piece of brown bag, which is a little bit thicker than the packing paper. And I used different color thread here, you know, fancy. This is another part of the florals. The past is to improve yourself. The future is to prove yourself. And for this one, I wanted it to well, what you see here is what you get, you know, but it's like, you know, packing the past, packing your luggage and moving on to the future. Oh, I didn't even think of that when I was making it. It just sort of came out that way. This one says Stay Golden. This part back here is from a magazine. The paper underneath the words and the picture are from a journal I got a long time ago from a thrift store, and it had, I believe, I'm not even sure why I cut it up, but I'll show you in future video what I've done with some of the pages. But I found it and I thought, oh, I'm just going to use that to border some of this stuff. This one says Reconnect, Refresh, Recharge, and it's just basically an advert for a hotel resort. And in the video, you see I had two of the exact one because two in the different tourism magazines was the same ad. And so I just used some of one to cover up this one. But you can see that in the video. And then this one was yesterday's Fog Eater Cafe. And to get it to fit on the page, you can see I folded this. There's this big advert wording piece right here. I think it said Eat Local or something. And so I just folded it down and tucked it in there and glued it in there. I really want to go here one day. It's up north, which California is very long. It's the longest state that I've ever lived in. Maybe it is the longest state. I don't know. But it's really hard to get up there. For me, for a lot of people, I've heard, you know, they've never been up north. I want to go up north one day. Maybe next year I'll be able to. And so this is just from a company store, the cover of that, and this little rose here. And so I just, you know, cut around it, fussy cut around, and then I stamped a few things. And then I added the Sharpie, which I've done on most of these images. I feel like once I glue it down, it's not mine until I go back in with the Sharpie and just define the image with the Sharpie. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way to look at it, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. This one I used the stencil, the honeycomb stencil, just to fill a little bit in there. Now this one was, you know, they all were fun. Some of them were a bit challenging than the other ones, but this one was fun because I can go through it and fluff up my my shabby roses. I found, I believe that the innards of the roses are from a, oh shoot, no, I've lost it. It's an art magazine. Anyway, if I remember what it is, I'll put the title at the bottom. Right now it's just, I've lost it. Anyway, I wanted to attempt something here, and I made shabby roses with the packing paper, brown packing paper behind it. And you know, I really had fun, and I love how it turned out. This is from one of the magazines that I got at the thrift store for this series, and I always am fascinated by outdoor fireplaces. If I ever get one, I probably would be out there all the time, even in the summer. I don't know. But this is one of the first, if not the first, that I started recording, because I didn't even start recording until I believe the 13th of August, when I thought, hey, you know, maybe I'll just make some videos, you know. And it turned into, from the 13th to the 31st, I made a page and videotaped it. Okay, so this page, then I took the letters, and it said breathe. and I just took them, cut them apart, put them down the side. There's a lot of things that happen that I don't have an explanation for. It's just what I feel to do in the moment. And that's what happened. And of course I went in with the Sharpie, and this is actually white gel pen because that was black, and I highlighted the areas. And this is a fill-in, and up here was I think some information, and I just covered it up with this was huge, so I covered it up with parts of that. And this is just a lake somewhere in California that I forget which one it was. It's up in here. It would tell me. This is another one of the ladies with the positive quote down her leg. It says, opportunities, like, I'm sorry, I don't have it memorized. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. So there you go. And this one has a pink flower from one of the magazines, and then I highlighted it with silver pen. And then a couple of days later, this showed up in one of the magazines, and it showed up as in I saw it. So I thought it would be cute perched on her leg there. This one was a big advertisement for this lake, this ocean area in California. And I also, in another magazine, a regular magazine, saw this, Just Add Water. There's a video for this, but anyway, I put it all together, and in trying to not have everything lined up, facing the right way, this type of rigidness for me, I put this upside down. It says, shift your outlook. So, I thought, well, that's appropriate. And then I put it upside down because that's what I'm trying to do, is shift my outlook. Okay, and this was, again, the lady, she's sewn in here. I don't know if I held it up. Can you see? You see the stitching at all? I don't know. But anyway, I sewed that onto the packing paper, so it's underneath now the picture. But this was another attempting something different. And I love how it turned out. I love the car and the dog looking out the window and then rolling on the apples, and just, I don't know, adventure awaits. This one says, creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Okay. This one, in the video, you'll see I kind of struggled with this flower. I was like, what do I really was like, oh, this is one of those times I wish I could have put it behind her. But I think it turned out pretty good. And then I added the stripes with the Sharpie, and I kind of really love how it turned out. I did not highlight too much with the other Sharpie, except I cut her hands out from the flower so that her hands would show. So it does kind of look like it's behind her, sort of. I don't know. But this one stuck out, and I didn't want to cut the floral out. So the next time, or the time that I went onto this page with this lake, this is an actual lake. It is Mount Shasta is what it's highlighting here, but this is, an actual lake. I just cut around the flower so it sort of, comes out, and it gets, knocked a bit with the string, but that's life. This is another, fill the page, put something on there before I started, and I just left it. It's another one of those. going to take this out. Now this one is another one of the ladies that I did stamp, I did stencil, and then I wanted to give her one of those floral coats. Have you seen those? They're kind of popular right now with the rich people when they go to galas or whatever. And I just thought the look in her eye and her smile, and I just thought, oh, just give her something fun to, you know, wear. So that's how this part came out. And the quotes on her say, change the way you look at things, and the thing you look at changes. And so there you go. Ha ha ha. Now this one is a 2-page spread, obviously, but it started with this. Now this is an advertisement for the Conservationists of California. It was in one of the tourism magazines, and I was very intrigued by it. And when it came time to put this on a page, I had gathered all the other elements, and I love how this turned out. You know, it's one of my favorite pages. I have up here in the corner, I reinforced the swoop of the tear. The packing paper is very thin, which, you know, it's kind of delicate when you first start out, but it grabs the glue. It grabs the glue really well, and then it builds up in strength as you put pages and things on it. So I reinforced it, and I have a piece of my all paper snippet roll. You can see the video for that. And then I have the Tim Holtz, I think it's called Field Notes, stamp and stencil set. So I just made little, like it's a you know, a field note. This came from an advertisement for paint. This book part here, this is a little piece of the paint key still sticking out. And then I found this picture that seemed very vintage, and then just little tags here. And then this piece here is the packing paper ruffle. The packing paper ruffle. And the way I made this, I took, obviously there's a strip back here. This ruffle part now is what I call my this and that ruffle design. So as I'm sewing, I turn the ruffle part this way, and then that way, and this way, and that way, and this way, and that way. And it sews as I sew it down. And you can, you know, lift it up. Just play with it. This I distress inked it, and I don't know. These are fun. They're just fun. But yeah, I love how this turned out. Now this is neat because this was not planned, of course, but when I turn the page, you can still see the mushroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. I love it. And this page was probably one of the hardest ones I did. I had sewn this meeting. I sewed this down before I started in anything, and I just didn't know what to put on this. So I avoided it every time I came to the journal. I just avoided it, didn't know what to do. And in the video that I made with this, you can see I took an advert where these two pieces are on either side of a river, and I just thought they're in the river of conversation. You know, they're in the river of connecting, and so that's, you know, you can see it on the video. And I stamped, like, you know, these are their conversations just overlapping. You know, everybody's excited to talk to each other. And I found this umbrella in one of the regular magazines that I got, and just worked it. And I'm I'm not upset about it now. It's okay. This is another, you know, pre-sewn pages. Here's a tag. It says beach days your way. I didn't put anything on there. Haven't been to the beach this year yet, this summer. I'm not going this summer. I'll wait till, I don't know, September or something. September. Here we are. It's going to be September tomorrow. But when it is too hot, I get rashes on the tops of my hands, and it's very painful. So I try to avoid the heat as much as possible, and it is not always easy. And unfortunately, that means I'm not going to the beach yet. This is just another sewn onto packing paper and then glued onto the page. Now, this one was just a couple of days ago. This one, the back of it, as you saw in the video, it was like a huge page of all the different beers that I guess they make in California. The independent, you know, brew houses. And I saw this pink image, and normally I would have put the pink thing on top first, or you know, onto it first, and then put all of these on top of that. But I wanted to reverse it. I don't know what that's called. Reverse focal point or dominant focal point. I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm not trained. I just go with what I feel. But these are all just different images in the California tourism. And then here's my little candy bug. This is from a Ralph's coupon envelope that they send out every once in a while. And then I put some decorative things on it, and then, you know, I thought maybe I'll put a letter in there later. It opens up. I can show you. It's sort of, here we go. It opens up like this, and there's a pocket in here, and I put some of this stuff in here. So maybe I'll put a letter in here of the whole experience of this journal. This one was just this week, right after we had the hurricane, which was just, by the time it reached where I live, it was just heavy rain. And, oh, and we did get an earthquake. That was, you know, that was unexpected. Oh, and then, you know, then an earthquake, and it came all the way from the north in Ojai, and, you know, just traveled down, you know, as they do. It was just a little bobble. It was just a little, you know, like that, you know, shake. It wasn't too bad. I've been in one where, when I first moved here, where there was a cracking noise and a really big shake. And then there was a whole bunch of little aftershakes. That was not fun. That was, boy, that was something else. But anyway, I just thought, you know, maybe now we'll have some greener days ahead, you know, in California. So that's where that came from. This one was a filler, and then this is part of the filler, and then this is part of that paper snippet roll, and then this was just a really lovely image of Laguna Beach. So there's that. And I just, you know, oh, and I stamped behind it with, I don't know what kind of stamp. Oh, it's just some of that wording stamp. This one I should have left, I think it's Toluca Lake. But you remember that show, The 10th Kingdom? I'm pretty sure they used video across there as part of the 10th Kingdom. Now I gotta go watch the 10th Kingdom to see if I'm right, because it's been a while. But yeah, I put that in there, and then just to fill in the bottom, because it was only this big, you know, long, I took this part and just turned it upside down. This was the first page, actually. I did I believe I did this when I still had my shop. Well, we'll go back and look, you know, to see. I cut out the information about what this was. And it was only this little piece of paper, and it flew out at some point and landed in some other part of the journal. And I thought, well, I gotta make it into a tag. So I used some of that journal that I'll show you later, some of the packing paper, and then I just stapled a little piece of fabric up there, and this is a little pocket. And actually, it's called Artist Palette. You can look it up. But yeah, so this was my first page. It says, there is no must in art because art is free. Belisi Kandinsky. Okay, so then we have on this side, we'll see in the video, previous video, the video for this process, there was the outline from me going around this with the Sharpie. It bled through. So I used that as an opportunity just to put little card size images and things in here. And this one is, I'm outdoorsy. I like to drink coffee on the patio. This is a little stamp that says coffee time. I don't think you can see that really. And then I had another little part of it's on a snippet stick, which you will see in that video. You could see that I had made these snippet sticks that I put in with ephemera kits that I sold in my shop. And when the shop had to close because the developers wanted to tear it down and build apartments, I brought everything home that didn't sell, and I had these snippet sticks, and I just, you know, I think I may have some in a bundle on my Etsy shop. I can't remember right now, but the stick itself looks like a tongue depressor, but it's not. It's just some leftover pieces from something else that, you know, I had made and then I cut apart, and I thought, wow, that looks like a tongue depressor. And then I thought, oh, I'll just put some of this, you know, snippet roll around it. And thus was born my snippet sticks. So anyway, back to the page. This is actually from a tourism, I believe. Yeah, because it's a cafe. Totem Coffee is what this is. Totem Coffee. This is another one of the ladies with the floral around it. It says, the best way out is always through. This one was fun. I'm kind of sad I lost the llamas. You can see them in the process video, but it's one of those times where you just like, oh, everything's come together. It works out perfectly. So this is the Once Upon a Time. This was part of a, it's either the tourism magazine or a regular magazine. And then this is a winery somewhere in California that looks like a castle. And I just added, you know, all the elements just came together really well. This is an advert for one of my favorite fragrances, Miss Dior. Came together well. And I thought it would be great with this one that I did days before that is labeled Enchantment. And this one was from a magazine. And then this is another piece from another magazine that I cut the hassock in half and put it down here just so it doesn't all float away. I always feel like you need a dark, you know, or black element or something so that it you know, the pastels don't all float off the page. This I gave her a pink pillow here and then just added the mattress part. or the front of that pink thing. Over here, added a more substantial leg. Whoops, this fell over. And then this is one of those stickers, one of those clear stickers, and I just framed her in there. And then this is a piece from some Stamperia paper that I have that I cut out, and I thought, oh, that's a neat little boho, you know, topping. This didn't happen. Nothing happened here. Nothing happened here. This is a writing board that when I made the other journals that are in my shop, I also made writing boards. This was made from a paper bag. These are the leftover bits from the coffee bags that I made into a mosaic. I used stencil to fill in the bottom, and this is my logo. This was my test tab. I really wanted the grommets, the We Are Memory Keeper grommets to work, so I could use them. I ended up using staples on the ones that are in my shop because the grommets do not, you can feel the rough part of them. This one didn't go down well at all. This one went down, but it's still picky. So I was at one of those mental, I don't know what to do, points. And I'm just going to staple them. And then I covered up the staples on the other ones, but this is mine. So that's, you know, I got one. This one has a bit of a hump here. That's why I kept it too, because the lamination did not smooth this out. And so it still works really well. You'll see in some of my videos that I would put it behind when I was doodling around the pictures, because then I have a more solid surface, which is what I wanted in designing the writing board, so that, you know, because this is, oops, oh, you saw that anyway. I already just did this on the video. This is very, it's like working on a cloud. So having this writing board came in handy. But anyway, these pages, you know, I could have done something, but eventually you get really tired and burnt out. Plus I was running out of stuff in the magazines. Can you believe that? Wow. You know, how many did I have? And I even found a couple of more tourism, you know, magazine or brochures or whatever. So this one was fun. And I had a bit of this, a bit of that, and it just sort of all came together. And this was I don't know, it looks really good. Whatever, all the, you know, vegetables on the bread, I don't know, it looked great. And I have this stamp that I got at the thrift store a couple of months ago. I don't know. It seems really fun, and I want to keep trying to work that in. It's just this strip. Well, I don't have it with me right now, but yeah. So I just stamped over that and then put the summer on top. And I don't know. This girl came from Albuquerque. I used to live in Albuquerque, and it was in a magazine about, you know, fly to Albuquerque, Yucatan, I think. Well, that's cool. So now she's with the palm trees. And let's see. This is, oh yeah. That's neat. Oh yes, now I know why this is substantial. This is a very substantial pepper. This one, because I used a chisel Sharpie around here, around her image. It bled through, and so instead of wondering if I was going to be able to cover it all up with this window, I just used a thin piece of bag and covered that. That's why this is nice. Look at that. That's nice. I like that. This is it. This was in an art magazine. What that art magazine I can't think of the name of right now. And it says, favorite quote, what you seek is seeking you. And that's a quote by Rumi. And so this part, this window was an advert in another magazine. So I cut this out, put this in, and I had this, and then I don't know where these pots came from. And here, I'm gonna fix this one that I noticed. Where's my pen at? I noticed that I didn't complete the pot in the video, and I'm doing that now. Here we go. I'm not sure. I think these flowers or these plants were part of this thing. That was all. Anyway, it was on my desk. So I grabbed it and put it in front of this window. And then this is a little mirror from, I don't know, one of the magazines that I thought maybe it'd be neat to cut it out and put something behind it, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then when this spread came up, I decided to put it in front of the windows. And this little piece here is also from the art magazine. And it says, The Soulful Heart. I don't know. Will it focus? I don't know. Let's hold it here for a moment. I don't know. Maybe I can take a close-up picture. Maybe that would work. And I'll insert that when I edit this video. Was, let's see, how do I put this? I had a very serious talk with someone I met while I had my shop. And without giving away too many details, it really touched me. She has a daughter that she is raising that is very upset with the way that the social unrest is going in this country. And I had already put this in here because it is sewn in. I love this image. Even though it is an advertisement for clothes, I just loved the smiles, and you know, it just gave me a really good feeling. But with this one, after I had that conversation, I was always thinking, what am I going to put on here? What am I going to do? You know, and I ended up making these lollipop flowers. There are 3 different size circles that I punched out, and then I just, you know, did the doobie-doo. But when I see this, I think of her, and I think of her daughter, and, you know, I just hope and pray, you know, that things get better, basically. This is now, let's see, this one says, it's all about finding the calm in the chaos, by Donna Karan. And this one I made, I forget when now, but you know, all these images just spoke to me of calmness, and, you know, like take a deep breath and just, you know, relax a bit. And yeah, I love how this came together. And even with this is from, was this from an advert, or was this from the tourism? I forget. But, you know, they all tuck in like snapshots. And the thing was, I had when I first made this and the pages are sticking out, it really bothered me. And so this one I had folded and I forgot. So when I did this spread and this folded out, one, oh shoot, you know, but then it worked out because I folded it and glued it, and then it turned into this. And I really love how this came out. And this was a filler space. And then we have this with nighttime, you know, water enthusiasts here. And then this one I made for my husband's birthday. He loves to ride his bike. I always tease him and saying, you're going to go ride bikes, you know. But he has been all over Orange County on his bike. This is a picture of his bike. He's also a photographer, so he took this picture and I printed it out, and I told him he could have these parts when I'm done with the video. I printed it out and used it as a pocket. This vine came from my shop. I had a metal beam that went across to hold together that's not the right, hold together the corner of one of the sides of the stalls. I went to Joann's. I ran to Joann's. I got fabric that looked like wood. I wrapped it around the metal beam. I don't know. I secured it with other strips tied in knots. I rip and, make a strip, tied it around the beam. And this is how I went. And then I had the vine, and I wrapped that around the the beam. I was so proud of that beam for so long. I mean, it was just like, ah ha ha, I covered it. It looks I did it. I did it. So I had a few pieces that fell off, and I kept them, and then I sewed them. I sewed this down into the page, and then I decided to put the map underneath. So this is glued, this is sewed together, but it's glued on. This is a brochure for Orange County, and this is where we live. And then these are little snapshots from a different brochure of all the places that he's ridden to. And so, I don't know, I thought, oh, that's neat. So on the back of this, I'm not going to flip it over now, but on the back of this is a note for him, because I don't make cards. I feel very, I don't know, inadequate making cards. So I don't make cards, but I did make him a note, and I told him he could have this after I'm done. And then this is when I went to print out his bike. It first printed in grayscale, and I went, oh, great, I want a color. But then I thought, well, I'm going to keep this because it also turned into a postcard. That this is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I found that said postcard. So I didn't have to go looking for my postcard stamps, which are somewhere, I don't know. And then I canceled it with my cancel stamp, which I did find. It's a different pack, and there's a little postcard, happy birthday postcard. So I'll take these out, and he can have those. He's actually out on a bike ride right now. For a little bit. It's also part of the snippet, paper snippet. So let's continue. This was just something I wanted to put in here. This is from that art magazine, and it says, to live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong. Ha ha ha. Can I get that in like multiple copies, and I'll just, put it around. And then this is a big filler spot, another outdoor space, which I, just wish I had. And here's the zebra, or Zed, as our friends in the UK call it, is for zebra. And so this is an advert for paint, and then this was in the tourism magazine, and that is the end. So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. I had a lot of fun. I wish I had turned the camera on or started this, for the whole month. But like I said, it starts on August 13th and goes to the end of the month. And so, yeah. So I will have something happening in September. Maybe a couple of new things. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thanks again for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for coming back and, checking out my videos. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the nice comments. I appreciate everybody that takes the time out of their busy schedules to come and see what I'm doing and to encourage me. And I want to encourage you. Be creative and happy crafting. See you soon.